Hello and a very warm welcome to all of you. I'm Meha Bhardwaj-Alter and this is Game On, your daily dose of sports news from around the world. We've got to begin with India and the third ODI in Ahmedabad. And Team India, in fact, reached Ahmedabad for the third and the final ODI against England. This will also be a last full dress rehearsal for the team before the upcoming ICC Champions Trophy in Pakistan and Dubai. A big knock from Virat Kohli's currently silent bat, along with a series clean sweep over England. That will be on Team India's wish list when the two teams square off in that final ODI. While India hold an unassailable 2-0 lead with identical 4-wicket wins in each of the first two ODIs, Rohit Sharma's men will be extra motivated to get a win here at the Narendra Modi Stadium, where they'd suffered a crushing ODI World Cup final loss in 2023. The team has already got a shot in the arm by Rohit's return to form. His 90-ball 119 in the second ODI was a source of relief to both the side and to him and to all the fans in the country after a prolonged run of poor scores. Kohli, though, he hasn't looked completely out of touch, but he hasn't stayed at the crease long enough to give himself a chance for a big knock either. And of course, fans will be hoping that this being the last opportunity for the Indian team, it would be just perfect if Virat Kohli gets a big knock, gets a big score in Ahmedabad. The addition of Varun Chakravarti, that's given additional ammunition to their lethal spin attack, which will be vital for the Champions Trophy, and Mohammad Shami's return after a lengthy injury layoff, that has been seamless too. Shami's successful comeback has certainly been assuring, given that the Indian team management still is awaiting news on their premier fast bowler Jasprit Bumrah, whose availability for the Champions Trophy is under doubt. As per the original timeline, Bumrah was slated to come back in the Ahmedabad ODI, but the ace pacer is currently toiling at the National Cricket Academy in Bengaluru, aiming to make the final squad that is set to be unveiled on Wednesday. Having ended his troubled run with the bat with a characteristic 100 in Cuttack, Rohit's confidence will certainly rub off on the rest of the side. While Yashasvi Jaiswal could continue to warm the bench, India will expect better application and results from wicketkeeper batter KL Rahul, who's going through a lean patch himself. But it would not be a surprise if India give the flamboyant Rishabh Pant a crack to get some game time and have another left-handed batter in the mix to try out additional combinations. India will need Shreyas Iyer's presence in the middle order, which has been bolstered by the robust batting performances from Akshar Patel. The 31-year-old all-rounder has shown immense maturity at number 5 in pressure situations of both ODIs so far, with knocks of 52 and 41 not out. But for Jos Buttler's England, this tour has raised more questions than they would have expected. England have suffered repeated implosions in their core batting lineup across the T20Is and ODIs, which has undone the impressive work that the opening pair of Phil Salt and Ben Duckett had been putting up. Butler maintains his team remains a work in progress, but exit of the talented Jacob Bethel due to injury has hampered them further. Now, India will take on Pakistan on the 23rd of February on Sunday in the Champions Trophy. And of course, fans from all across the world, from both sides of the border, are waiting for this big clash. Former India off-spinner Harbhajan Singh, who is in the UAE as a commentator for the ILT20, has seen the pitches there very closely. He says that the team that adjusts better to the conditions will have an upper hand. He also said that India will have an edge over Pakistan, since Rohit Sharma and his team will be playing all their matches in the UAE. Listen in.
देखिए, मुझे लगता है वो गेम जो है वो उसकी हाइप तो बहुत ज़्यादा क्रिएट की जा रही है इंडिया पाकिस्तान, बट मुझे लगता है कि अगर इंडिया देखें टीम इंडिया तो काफ़ी ऊपर मैं देखता हूँ टीम इंडिया को। और ये पिच जहाँ पे, क्योंकि अभी मैं पिछले 1 महीने से मैचेस कवर कर रहा हूँ, थोड़ी सी धीमे पिच है, तो जो टीम बेहतर अपने आप को एडजस्ट करेगी वो उसको रिजल्ट जो है वो उसके फेवर का मिलेगा। और इंडिया को एक एडवांटेज होगा कि इंडिया अपने सारे मैचेस दुबई में खेल रहा है, जहाँ पे उनको पिच का अंदाज़ा होगा, कंडीशन का अंदाज़ा होगा। ओवरऑल इंडिया मुझे लगता है कि पाकिस्तान से बेहतर टीम है और रिजल्ट भी जो है वो भारत की फेवर में जाएंगे, जो ऐसा ऑन पेपर अगर हम देखते हैं। बाकी क्रिकेट उस दिन पे लेकिन अच्छी खेलनी होगी।
Now, Jasprit Bumrah, he hasn't bowled since the first innings of the Sydney Test between India and Australia during that first week of January. The star Indian pacer, like I said, he's been undergoing rehabilitation in the National Cricket Academy in Bengaluru. Bumrah remains a doubtful starter for the initial few matches, at least in the Champions Trophy. And Harbhajan Singh was asked this question. He said, no one can match Bumrah, but India has many young bowlers and the Champions Trophy will be a good opportunity for them in Bumrah's absence.
देखिए, जब बुमराह जैसा खिलाड़ी नहीं खेले या फिर कोई बड़ा खिलाड़ी नहीं खेले तो किसी न किसी को तो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेनी है। मैं ये समझता हूँ कि बुमराह जैसा तो कोई नहीं हो सकता, बट ये बाकियों के लिए एक अपॉर्चुनिटी का द्वार खुलता है कि वो अपनी काबिलियत दिखा सकें। और अर्शदीप है, शमी है या बाकी के गेंदबाज हैं जो मिलके मुझे लगता है कि एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म सेट कर सकते हैं जहां फिर अपने बल्लेबाज वो आसानी से चेस कर रहे, या फिर अगर हमारे बल्लेबाज टारगेट अच्छा सेट कर देते हैं तो फिर उसको डिफेंड कर सकें। ऐसे गेंदबाज हमारे पास हैं।
Harbhajan Singh has also seen mystery spinner Varun Chakravarti during their time together at the Kolkata Knight Riders. Varun has emerged as a strong contender for a place in India's Champions Trophy squad. Harbhajan said Varun is ready to serve India and that he can do so much with his spin. And he can do what Bumrah actually has been doing with pace. He can do the same for India in the spin department.
वरुण चक्रवर्ती बहुत बढ़िया गेंदबाज है। जब मैंने पहली बार उनको आईपीएल में यहाँ पे गेंदबाजी करते देखा था, मैं केकेआर के लिए खेल रहा था, तो बहुत उनके साथ बातचीत होती थी, काम किया उनके साथ। तो जो उसके बाद उनके रिजल्ट आए हैं और मैंने तब भी कहा था कि ये बंदा रेडी है इंडिया खेलने के लिए। तो वो 2 या 3 मैच जब खेला, सब ने कहा कि नहीं नहीं इसमें वो दमखम नहीं है। तो बहुत बार ना हम बहुत चीज़ों को जल्दी जज कर लेते हैं। अगर आप प्लेयर को टाइम दीजिए तो वो प्लेयर अपनी काबिलियत दिखाने का उसको सही तरीके से जब मौका मिलता है तो वो इसी तरीके से परफॉर्म करते हैं। तो वरुण के पास वो हर कैपेबिलिटी है, वो हर क्वालिटी है जो मैच जिता सकता है। और उसने बहुत मैच जिताए हैं भारत को अभी हाल फिलहाल में, और उनमें बहुत ये काबिलियत है कि अपने दम पे मैच को पलट सकते हैं। जैसे जसप्रीत बुमराह जो है, फास्ट बॉलर में जसप्रीत बुमराह ने अपना कद बनाया, वो आज नहीं बना, लेकिन बुमराह को बुमराह बनने के लिए वो 10 साल का पीरियड लगा। इसीलिए वरुण जैसे भी गेंदबाज को या किसी भी युवा को आप टाइम दीजिए जिसमें वो काबिलियत हो कि जो आगे जाके मैच विनर का काम कर सकता है, तो वो डेफिनेटली उसमें वो गुण है वरुण चक्रवर्ती में।
Now, as India lost that 5-test Border Gavaskar trophy in Australia 3-1, there has been criticism about the team. There have been stories that have been leaked about the rift that was on in the Indian dressing room. Harbhajan was asked this question about those stories being leaked. He said the only person present in the room can leak the information and that this is not good for the team. It is important to have trust and faith in the dressing room.
देखिए, ड्रेसिंग रूम की खबर सिर्फ और सिर्फ ड्रेसिंग रूम से ही बाहर निकलती है, और वो ड्रेसिंग रूम के ही लोग होते हैं जो ड्रेसिंग रूम की खबर बाहर निकालते हैं। और जब तक आप कहें कि 4 दीवारी में बात हुई और बाहर निकल जाए, कैसे निकल जाए अनलेस कोई आपका ही कोई घर का बेती लंका डाई वाला काम ना करे। तो जो भी है, ये जो भी काम हुए वो टीम के लिए या फिर किसी के प्रकार के लिए वो माहौल के लिए ठीक नहीं है। जब आप टीम एनवायरनमेंट में रहते हैं, आई बिलीव कि इट्स इम्पोर्टेंट टू काइंड ऑफ हैव दैट फेथ एंड ट्रस्ट अमंग्स ईच अदर कि जो बात वहाँ की जाए वहीं रहे। क्योंकि अगर हम अपने हर झगड़े की बात बाहर करने लग जाएंगे तो फिर बाहर वाले तो हमारे पे हावी हो ही जाएंगे। वही हुआ जब मीडिया को या फिर हर चीज़ बाहर जाने लग गई, तो मीडिया को तो सिर्फ वो जो चाहिए था वो मिल गया, बट उसके साथ साथ टीम का माहौल, वो ड्रेसिंग रूम का माहौल कितना ख़राब हुआ, वो ठीक करने में बहुत समय लग जाता है।
Okay, Rohit Sharma has silenced his critics with his masterclass in the second one-day international against England in Cuttack on Sunday after a prolonged run of failures. But Kohli's struggle in the line of off-stump that continues. The star batter has, in fact, he failed in the Border Gavaskar Trophy, but had also failed to fire in the Ranji Trophy, where they were compelled to play following a BCCI diktat. Harbhajan said that the Champions Trophy actually is a perfect opportunity for the veterans to bounce back. Otherwise, there are many youngsters who will start getting opportunities. But he also added that there is enough cricket left in both Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli.
बिल्कुल ठीक है, रन नहीं आ रहे हैं उनके, वो बात बिल्कुल सही है। विराट और रोहित के बल्ले से उतने रन नहीं आए हैं जितना बड़ा उनका कद काठ है, और बहुत रन बनाए हैं, और अपनी एक्सपेक्टेशंस हम जब उनसे लगाते हैं तो वैसे रन नहीं बनाए, वाजिब सी बात है। पर मैं ये ज़रूर कहूँगा कि अब चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी है, यहाँ पे मौका है उनके पास भी कि एक बार दोबारा वो अपनी काबिलियत दिखाएं, क्षमता दिखाएं कि वो क्या कर सकते हैं, कैसे भारत को अभी भी मैच जिता सकते हैं। और अगर वो उसमें कामयाब नहीं होते हैं, देन ऑब्वियसली बहुत सारे युवा खिलाड़ी हैं जो लाइन में लगे हुए हैं, कहीं ना कहीं उनको फिर मौके मिलने शुरू हो जाएंगे। बट आई स्टिल बिलीव कि इन दोनों में भी क्रिकेट बची हुई है, ये काबिल खिलाड़ी हैं, ये रन बना सकते हैं, मैच जिता सकते हैं। और मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ कि जो फॉर्म गई हुई है अभी लौट आए, क्योंकि ऐसा तो नहीं है कि बल्लेबाजी करना भूल गए हैं। तो सोना सोना ही होता है, ये सोना प्लेयर हैं दोनों। ठीक है, आज चमक थोड़ी सी कम हो गई है, बट दोबारा थोड़ा सा अगर पॉलिश कर देंगे तो चमक जाएंगे।
That was well said by Harbhajan. And in fact, Chris Gayle, he's also echoed similar sentiments where he said that Virat Kohli may be a bit out of form, but he is undoubtedly the best player in this format. In fact, he said, and I quote, he's spoken about it, he said he's still the best player in the world regardless of form. Virat Kohli is best player because the stats prove that. How many centuries across formats he scored as well is just one of the things that when cricketers go through rough patches, that gets difficult. I know it is coming at the back end of his career as well, but these things happen. So he just needs to pick himself up and come back again. And that's exactly what we all are hoping for as well. Yes, he's been, he's struggled in the Border Gavaskar Trophy, but this is a perfect opportunity. He loves this format. He's a giant in this format. He's scored, lots of runs. He's right there at the top. Amongst the top run getters internationally. So hopefully we will see him back in form tomorrow, and then all will be well ahead of the Champions Trophy. Okay, let's move on then to football and Champions League. Real Madrid against Manchester City in the Champions League. This is an accidental blockbuster of the new knockout playoffs round that starts later tonight. The past two title winners surprisingly finished mid-table in the new 36-team standings format that ended in January. The top 8 teams skipped the playoffs and went directly to the round of 16 in March. Manager Carlo Ancelotti, he has said that Manchester City was the worst possible rival Real Madrid could have been drawn against in the Champions League playoff, and described the preparation process for the showdown as a nightmare. As he braces for another high-stakes contest at the Etihad Stadium later tonight, when the winners of the last 3 titles face off for the 4th consecutive season in the knockout phase, Ancelotti thinks Real versus City has become Europe's biggest continental rivalry. Ancelotti's side has won the title in 2022, and last year, after eliminating City, who reached the final in 2021 before finally claiming their first European crown in 2023. Since the sides met last year, Real have strengthened an already formidable attack with the acquisition of Kylian Mbappe, who is supported by Rodrigo, Jude Bellingham and Vinicius Jr. In the first leg of the playoff tie at the Etihad, La Liga leaders Real will be without their key defenders Dani Carvajal, Antonio Rudiger, Eder Militao and David Alaba. Ancelotti, he dismissed the idea that his side would be facing a weakened opponent compared to the previous years, with City languishing 5th in the Premier League, 15 points adrift of leaders Liverpool, calling Pep Guardiola the best coach in the world. Real and City failed to advance automatically to the last 16 as one of the top 8 sides in the new Champions League format, and they will be clashing in a 2-legged playoff in which one of the tournament's top contenders will be eliminated early.
Yes, the most difficult rival, the most important rival, as I said, against the best manager. I think that the team that passed through this qualification has the possibility to arrive far in this competition, as usually was in the last year. The last 3 years, who won this qualification, won the Champions League. It maybe can happen also this year.
Meanwhile, Manchester City coach Pep Guardiola said his side were well aware of Real Madrid's habit of producing their best in tough times. With a string of injuries having depleted the visitors' defense, the clubs will clash for a 4th consecutive year, having met in 4 Champions League knockout ties since 2020. Guardiola said it would be impossible to shut out Real's forwards and added that they are, in fact, exceptional. City have endured a testing time on the pitch this season and are languishing 5th in the Premier League, 15 points adrift of leaders Liverpool, with the prospect of a record extending 5th successive title all but dashed already.
I think both teams had the problems in terms of injuries during the season. I think Madrid handled it much better than us, because still is top of the league and fighting against Atletico Madrid, that show again one more year the consistency that they have. And Barcelona right now maybe is one of the best Barcelonas in not that period. So we're playing this season it's playing exceptional, and we can compare in the all Barcelonas, and still with that Madrid is leader. So with the problems that we had, so at the end they are a huge competitor, so we know it. We faced many times with them, and how in the tough moments they bring the best of them, we know it. And of course we have to make 2 good games to go through. We have not done, how we said, quite well in group stage, so we deserve to be that we are. So the draw is the draw, and accept the challenge.
In the other match of the night, Borussia Dortmund, they will use the Champions League playoff first leg against Sporting later tonight to try and kickstart their season after their recent league run has seen them drop down the table. Dortmund, last year's Champions League finalists, they lost 2-1 at home to VfB Stuttgart in the Bundesliga on Saturday in coach Niko Kovac's debut to drop to 11th place. They have won just one of their last 6 league matches, but have reached the Champions League playoffs for a spot in the competition's round of 16. Dortmund lost 2-0 to Real Madrid in last year's Champions League final, but their recent Bundesliga performances have put next season's participation in Europe's premier club competition at risk. Kovac, he will be without Rami Bensebaini, who picked up a muscle injury against Stuttgart, but is expected to be fit for the league on the weekend. Sporting coach Rui Borges, he said he was still banking on facing a tough match at home despite Dortmund's domestic woes. And Sporting's new goalkeeper Rui Silva said he was looking forward to his Champions League debut.
To be first in Portugal, it's very difficult because you have with Porto and also Benfica 2 top teams. So in the last season they won the championship, or 2 times in a row, I think. So that means the quality is very high. Not only with a top striker, they have also very good players in the squad, and this makes it difficult. Portugal is a football playing nation, so this is a football playing team. They're trying to play football from the back to the front. So that means for us, we must be aware of their technical skills. But in overall, I think our team, my team, is also well prepared. This is the first part of these 2 games, and we have a second one. And tomorrow we want to get also a good result to have a good opportunity to reach the next step.
I played a few years here ago, and I know how difficult it is here to play, and the stadium is very loud, and it will be a very tough game, but we also have qualities. And
the The excitement is building as we move closer to the start of the 2025 Formula One season, and Australia will host the opening race of the Formula One season this year with no new races once again on the calendar. And ahead of this new season, Max Verstappen, he spoke about his preparations and his new partner Liam Lawson. Verstappen has just been tapped as the official global brand ambassador for AlphaTauri, Red Bull's premium fashion lifestyle brand. Going forward, he will sport the brand while traveling to the 24 locations on the 2025 Formula One calendar. The Dutch Belgian racked up his fourth consecutive title last year for Red Bull, but there are reports that his long-term future with the team is a question mark. The 27-year-old's contract with the energy drink company will run down in 2028.
I'm looking forward to the most is just to see how competitive we are. Of course, as you said, new teammate in Liam. I'm excited to be working with him as well. And I think the whole team is excited to look ahead to this season. You know, last year has been challenging at times. Of course, we had a lot of good moments. Of course, also some tough moments. And I hope that we can be, let's say, a little bit more stable and a little bit more all-round throughout the season. I think what I find actually the most important is sleep. Because of course you can train well, but if you're not recovering well, it's not going to help you out, right? So it's really important to basically sleep well. And a lot of people maybe don't realize how important it is. I also really, I think, improved on that as well from when I was 18 to now. But yeah, it's definitely very important.
Well, with that, we've come to the end of this edition. But if you're wondering how much are these Formula One drivers earning, well, Max Verstappen, he earned $65 million last year, $5 million more than Lewis Hamilton. Pretty plush a job, I would say. But of course, Formula One, it is a really difficult sport to participate in, and rightfully so. They're being paid so much money. With that, we've come to the end of this show. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.